Hello, everyone. What's happening? How are you doing? Welcome to the second episode of, what's the name of this? Invest in Yourself. I am really excited to be here today because we've got a huge topic for you guys today. I'm so excited about this. We're going to be talking all about passive income, all the different ways to create a passive income. And I want to tell you about education, okay? There are a lot of different ways you can get education. This is just one small way right now that you can get your education, watching a webinar like this. But I want you to remember, this is not all you need, okay? We're here to give you as much content and information as we can in a setting like this, but this by no means does not take the place of good home study courses, seminars, live events, coaching and mentoring. I still belong to several mentoring groups, and I still invest in home study courses and attend events all the time. So please remember that, guys. But we're going to give you some really, really good tips today that you can use. Now, the first thing I want to do is it takes a lot of people to run an organization like this, a training organization like this. And what I want to do throughout some of my episodes is introduce you to a few of my team members. Not all my team members at one time, because that would take the whole show. But what I want to do is I want to introduce you to a few of my team members. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is maybe I'm going to bring up some of my tech guys. Are we going to do that first? Is that cool with you guys? I need a yes or a no. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so first person I want to introduce to you is Sean. Come on up, Sean. What's up, brother man? How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Guys, this is Sean, and Sean does a lot of our AV stuff, a recording of our videos. Those of you who got the HUD Homes half off jump start, he recorded all those videos. He edits them. He does all the graphics, like when we do banners and headers and program graphics and things like that. He does all of that stuff. So Sean, tell him about yourself.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Sean O'Sullivan. I'm happy to be here, happy to be a part of this team. I love what we're doing here. I love being involved with everything that I can get my hands on with technology, graphics, doing video editing, shooting videos, taking pictures of various things that happen around this office. It's just been a really great experience for me these past few months. So really excited to be here.
That's awesome. Now, tell him about, he's a new daddy too, right?
Oh yeah, I got a 3-month-old baby at home, so.
So he's up all night usually, and he still gets to work on time. That's awesome. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Okay, next I'm going to bring up Todd Sorensen. And Todd, he is in charge of our entire IT department. Come on up here, Todd. What's up, buddy? How you doing? So Todd is in charge of our IT department. There's nothing that plugs into the wall, has electricity, has a cord, a cable, or anything that this guy can't work on. He's a coder. He's a programmer. He does AV stuff. He does search engine optimization, search engine marketing, pay-per-click advertising. He creates websites. He creates software. He pretty much does it all. And tell him a little bit about yourself and how long you've been here.
I've been here with Larry now for about 3 years. We're going on 3 years here. And like he said, I do our marketing, digital marketing and physical, as well as our IT, pretty much anything that deals with technology or communications. I'd worked for quite a few years in gaming before I came out here, and also in sports. So I try to use what I've learned in my past life to help Larry here reach a few more people and hopefully provide some good content for everybody.
Awesome. He was in gaming. Were you a gambler or did you work in the business?
I worked in the business.
Oh, okay. Good job. Good job. Okay, next I want to bring up Candace. Come on up, Candace. Just take your time. We got time. That's okay. The show's only 3 hours long. We got plenty of time. Guys, this is Candace Broom, and Candace is our JV manager / event coordinator / revenue recovery / collections / right? So if you guys saw me at an event at your RIA group, Candace set it up. If I got there, she booked my travel. Okay. She pretty much does it all as far as that goes. So tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, you pretty much did everything. Feels like I've been here forever. And and then again, it feels like we're just getting started with several new things that we've got coming down the pipeline for you guys. So looking forward to the rest of 2015 and many more years to come.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much, Candace. Okay, next I want to bring up Deanna. Is Deanna in the house? That's okay. We got time. Come on up. Come on up. No problem. Just take your time. Guys, this is a lovely Deanna. And Deanna is our CFO. She's the bean counter, right? So Deanna's been with us for quite some time, and she takes care of all the accounts payable, accounts receivable, accounting, QuickBooks, payroll, all that good stuff. And also, she ain't even from around here. Tell them about yourself.
I don't speak English.
She knows speaking of English.
No. Well, I guess Larry said it all. My name is Deanna, and I do everything dollars.
Everything dollars and cents.
Yes. And I go around nagging people for receipts for everything from a house to soda. So,
That's
so
awesome.
that's what I do.
And tell them where you're from.
Lithuania. Larry calls it Lufthansa. Okay. I don't know if there is such a country, but
She's
on
from
Larry's
Lufthansa.
map, there is. Larry does business in 17 states plus Lufthansa.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you very much, Deanna. That's great. Okay, next we're going to bring up our customer service manager, assistant, leader, all that good stuff. And this is Cornelius, and I'm not even going to say his last name, but but we call him Corn. And believe it or not, this is Deanna's son. What'd she start when she was like 12 years old or something? So tell them about yourself.
As he said, I'm customer service representative. So if you guys ever call in, 90% of the time it's either Candace, me, or Melanie that pick up the phone. 90% of the time it's me. I ship out all the books. I ship out all the courses, and pretty much the first line of contact in the office.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And he does a fine job at it too. We're really proud to have him on our team. Thank you, Corbin. Appreciate it. Okay. And last but certainly not least is our COO. This is the person who started with me. This is the person who, before I ever had a webinar, before there even was webinars, before we even did teleconferences, when we did our very first event, when we were just flipping houses and we were at our local RIA group and I became the president. And I want to introduce you guys to her because she's very, very special. She's been here over 10 years now. And she is self-taught on everything. She's done pretty much everything in this office. And we're just very, very blessed to have her. And this is Melanie Bell. Melanie, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome. So tell them a little bit about yourself real quick.
You're not doing well anymore.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I think she's a little camera shy, but it's okay. But she even wrote my very first course. I put it out on paper, handwritten notes, typed out things, and she typeset it. She did everything. She used to do the event planning, booking up things, accounting and selling and customer service and shipping and all that good stuff when we were just this big. So we've really grown and we've got an awesome team. And we're blessed to have each and every one of them. So thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to take a real quick break, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to bring up Wendy, and we're going to talk about creating some massive passive income with hard money and private money. So we'll be right back.
You need to know about HUD. Join a team of world-class experts at our upcoming event, Nothing But HUD. You'll be sitting on the edge of your seat for 2 days as HUD experts reveal all their secrets. And you'll be ready for action as we will be teaching our entire HUD model we use to buy and sell properties in 8 states and growing. It's happening in Charlotte, North Carolina, May 22nd and 23rd. There's only 3 seats left. Hold on, actually, I was just updated. We are now sold out. Nothing But HUD is sold out. If you want to get on the waiting list, you can call 803-831-2858. And make sure to join us on our next episode of Invest in Yourself live on May 20th, as we will be talking all about HUD heading into the Nothing But HUD event. And here comes Wendy to join Larry to talk about a little financing.
What's up, everybody? How are you doing? We're back live action. Yee! Exactly. I want to introduce to you guys a good friend of mine. This is Wendy Sweet. And Wendy and I have known each other for years and years and years and years and years. Well, we're not that old, are we? Hey, easy. We're like 6 months apart in age. Is that right? And I'm 39. So Wendy and her brother Billy, who you met on the last episode of Invest in Yourself, Wendy and her brother Billy own a company called CarolinaHardMoney.com, right? There you go. And Wendy she's taught at my events for years, since the very first event I did back in 2004. And we were partners in a business, and she went into the seminary. And am I stealing your thunder here? I'm sorry. She went into the seminary, and she graduated and she got bona fide. So now she can marry you and bury you, right? There you go. And I just told her earlier today, I said, when it comes my time, I want you to bury me. She starts acting like she's digging with a shovel, you know? But anyway, so Wendy knows all about hard money. Nobody I know that knows any more about hard money than Wendy does. So we're here to talk about creating some passive income with hard money and private money. So Wendy, why don't you start out and tell them a little bit about yourself? And guys, I'm sorry we're passing the mic here. Last minute, this microphone right here went out on us, so we're having to pass this mic back and forth. So that's kind of the way it goes when you're dealing with technology. So Wendy, take it away.
I'll take it away. I'll take it away. I'm really happy to be here. I always kind of refer to myself as a recovering mortgage broker, because we did start in the mortgage business together doing conventional loans.
Yeah.
And from doing conventional loans, we kind of fell into doing hard money loans. We just found a niche and were able to fill it. And the way that we were able to do the hard money loans is, you know, when you're qualifying people for loans, you're able to figure out how much money they have in the bank. Yeah. That's always a plus. I wish I had known that when I was single. But anyway, But anyway, it gave us an opportunity to really get to know people, to see how much money they had. So we were able to convince these folks that we can not only just sell them a house and help them rehab it, but we can also help them make money by loaning that money as a passive investment, rather than taking on the risk of rehabbing a house and doing all that work, taking the chance of the walls not being as solid as you thought when you walked in, and also having that house as collateral. So it was a fairly safe loan as well.
That's awesome.
It's a great investment.
So guys, that is the first thing. What's up? That is the first thing that we're talking about here, is using hard money and private money to become a passive investor, okay? Now, there's a lot of different things you can do, a lot of different ways you can do it. You can originate the loans yourself. You can invest in a company. I shouldn't say in a company, but use a company like Wendy's company, Carolina Hard Money. You could be a broker, which is what they do, as well as loan their own money. They use my money. They use my mom's money, my wife's money. My wife's one of your biggest lenders,
That's
isn't she?
right, and your child's money.
My child's money. Noah, who is 10 years old, he's a hard money lender, and he's got a he's the toughest one, huh? So anyway, Wendy, why don't you start out and tell them a little bit about the difference between hard money and private money, and then the different ways that they can be a hard money or private money lender and set up some passive income.
I'll be happy to. Larry asked me a question this morning. He said, do you know the difference between hard money and private money? And I started to answer him, and he went, 6%. And he's about right. I mean, that's right. That's exactly right. Hard money and private money are really one and the same. When you go with a hard money lender, you're usually going with a company, whereas a private money lender is somebody who happens to have money in a bank, 401k, IRA, HSA, ESA, health savings account, educational savings account, and just cash money under the mattress. So just having the ability to have money to loan makes you a private money lender,
Awesome.
right?
Now, if you don't have any money, what can you do to create that passive type income if you are starting with no money?
If you're starting with no money, then you need to steal it. No. Okay. There's great ways to start with money. The way to do that is to be a broker. And that's what we did. I didn't have hundreds of $1,000s in my pockets, although I have a lot now. Right?
Absolutely.
We wish that were all
More
true.
zeros.
Yeah, that's right. That's all we're looking for is more zeros. But what we did is we started out as brokers. And the way that I did that, I explained that a little earlier, that I was able to see how much money people had in the bank, and I was able to approach them. Hey, would you like to earn 15% on your money? I can help you do that. So that was how we got started. But you can start by really just asking your family and friends if they have money, whether it's in a 401k or some sort of retirement, and they still like you. Hopefully they'll like you even better after you tell them this. But my first question, the way I ask people is I always say, are you earning at least 15% on your money that you have? I'm telling you, their ears perk right up when they hear that, because everybody wants to earn that kind of money. And you really can do this if you put them in a safe loan. But you have to do the underwriting and all the things that go along with that, which is a lot of things that we teach on our website in this program that you're coming out with, right? Yeah, the Hard Money Million's coming out, right? Oh, we won't tell anybody. Okay, it's a secret. We'll have to kill them if we tell them any more about that. But
2 weeks.
Yeah, that's our favorite answer. Okay, so that's the first thing you do is you have to ask them. The other thing I always tell people too, if they're whether they're looking for money, whether they're looking to lend money, whether they're looking to lend other people's money, is if you're a member at your local RIA group, your Real Estate Investor Association, going to those meetings, I always tell people I would have a t-shirt that says, "Got money?" with a question. Remember the milk campaign? I'd have "Got money" and then put my information on it so people would know that I have money that I want to lend. And I would always get up at the beginning, announce that I'm a hard money broker and I'm out 15% interest rate on your money. People will come up to you and want to give you money to lend. So there's always ways of making that happen. You have to ask, because if you don't ask, the answer is
No.
That's right. It's always no if you don't ask. So you have to ask for that
It's
opportunity.
like playing poker.
That's
You can't win it if you ain't in it.
That's right.
I want to share a couple of things. When you're looking for people that have money and talking to them about loaning out their money, maybe you were broker it or whatever, you also need to be aware that most people are scared of 15%. 15%, what kind of scam is this? I mean, I've talked to guys before that have used their friends, their family money, and when they said 15%, they were like really turned off. But then they talked about 5, 6, 7%. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do 6%. You know, isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
It really is. So, Wendy, would you mind spending a few minutes and tell them a little bit about the person out there that has money or has access to money? What do they need to look for in, number one, a borrower, and number two, a property, to make sure that their passive income investment is a solid investment?
Okay, that's great. And you did put them in order. You put number one, the customer, the borrower, and about your credit score. Yes, we care about your ability to pay. We care willingness to pay. Larry and I were sharing some things, and we used to pull credit report on everybody to see what their credit score is, and that's important to know. But what's more important for us is to pull a background check on people. We want to know exactly what their character has been in the past and what it is now. Their, tax liens would show up on the a background check. Anything that has happened in the past in their life shows up on that background check. And, we'll question them on anything that we see, because we really, really want to know what happened in their life and how they handled it, because people change when it comes to money. People's characters change, and it also, the true character shines through when it comes to money. A lot of people were caught up in what happened, starting in 2007. A lot of people went through foreclosures and losses, and there's a lot of really good people that got caught in a really bad situation. And, just because you've been through a foreclosure doesn't mean you don't pay your bills. But we want to know what happened and the background, what's happened through that. Even
it only means you didn't pay that.
That's correct. That's correct. We really want to know what happened and how you were able to dig yourself out of what happened to you. That's really, really important. The other thing that we really care about is the property. Many of the people that we loan their money for, when they first start with us, they want to see the property. They want to, some of them even want to be able to drive to it and take a look at it. And they're very interested in, exactly how much it's going to cost to fix it up and what the person's plans are with the house and that kind of thing. And yeah, in the beginning, that's soothing for a lot of people who want to lend their money. But the bottom line is it's all a numbers game. And once you know the value of that property, what it will sell for, not really what the appraisal is, but what it'll sell for. Once you know the value of the selling value of that property and the numbers of what it would cost to fix it up, you can do the math and figure out whether or not it's something you'd want in your portfolio should you have to take it back. And I can tell you in most cases, you don't even have to take houses back. We've done over 850 loans in the past, decade. And in that, we've had to take 18 houses back. In every one of those cases, except for one, we got a deed in lieu of foreclosure. We never had to go through the foreclosure process because most investors care about their credit. They care about their character. They care about whether or not they're going to be able to get another loan. So they're going to do everything they can to make it easier for you to be able to take that house back, put it on the market, sell it, and then not only get your money back, but you get the profit off of it, because remember, you're in it at 65 to 70% of the after repaired value. So
65 to 70%.
And 65 is better. The more equity you have in a house, the better off you are. So you want to be careful about that. And, when we're measuring how much we're going to loan, whether it's 65 or 70%, we not only base that on the borrower and the property, but we base a lot of that on the days on market as well. You want the days on market to be as short as possible. And you get that number from an appraisal when you have that appraisal done. You can also get that from a local real estate agent that can pull it up on any MLS system. So it's good to have one of those in your pocket, the MLS person.
That's true. Now, what's more important, an appraisal or a CMA and a good valuation from a realtor?
Okay. I am a realtor, so I can say this. A realtor. My lips get stuck when I talk too fast. Okay. Yes. No, he does. It doesn't bother me a bit. So anyway, the important thing to us is really an appraisal. We care about an appraisal. CMAs are great. BPOs are great, comparative market analysis or a broker's price opinion, they're great. But an appraiser really understands the deductions and the additions that need to be taken on an appraisal. How much are you going to give for this garage? How much are you going to take away for this particular amount of square footage? What about the site evaluation? They know a lot more about what's going on right there within that neighborhood as compared to other houses just like that one. I can tell you when an agent pulls comps for you, they can't help it, but they're going to pull the best ones they can find. It's just going to happen that way. And it's not always an exact comparable that an appraiser would use, because, you know, an appraiser has done, I don't know, 330 in the state of North Carolina. You have to have like 332 before you're a bona fide appraiser, that you've done on your own. So they've done a lot of investigation, and, you know, they've just got a lot of things that they can hold as a true comparable on a house, where a real estate agent won't have all that information. I'm not saying throw the agent information out the window, because there are agents out there that really have their finger on the pulse of what's going on in that neighborhood, even on that block, in that city. And it's really important to have a good real estate agent to help you as well. But we go off an appraisal.
So when you're talking to the agent, what kind of questions are you asking the agent? Because it's my understanding that you want a value, a number to put on that property to base your loan to value on, of a pretty quick sale.
That's exactly right. And that's exactly what we say to them is, how much will this house sell for in 30 days? We don't say the word quick sale normally, because quick sale to someone who lives in the mountains of North Carolina would be 6 months. That's a quick sale. Ask us how we know. So the other thing we want to make sure is that they're thinking the exact same thing we're thinking. So we want to make sure we use those particular words and say, what is it going to sell for in 30 days? Not what should we list it for? And I say that to them. I don't know. I don't care what you want to list it for. What will it sell for? Because that's really what the loan needs to be based on, because those are realistic numbers.
That's a really, really good point. It really is. Wendy, do you have any final comments or things you'd like to share with our listeners, which means your time's about up, to help them in creating some sort of a passive income with hard money, or just give them some ideas to be thinking of and to do more research about?
Yes. The first thing I want to do is I want to plug my company, Carolina Hard Money. And really, you know, whether or not you're from our area or wherever it is that you will feel comfortable loaning your money, or whoever you might be comfortable loaning your money with, you are always safer to find a company like mine that will help guide you through the lending that you do. We train our lenders. I mean, we want our lenders to be involved in what we're doing, because the more educated they are, the much easier it is for us to be able to do our job. So we'll help them do that. But the other thing too is, you know, everybody has a healthy fear about lending their money, and they very well should. The point is, you really need to do your homework. And we talked about two things. We talked about making sure that that borrower is some good character and that can pay it back for you. The other thing is making sure that the house is something that you would want in your portfolio if you would have to take that house back. If you're lending out on your own, if you know, you, Larry, just decide you wanted to loan money, then that house really needs to be an important factor for you. If you're using a company like mine, it really doesn't matter if the company that you're using to underwrite the loan is underwriting it properly and making sure that that value is there. You should have a healthy fear. You should ask questions. You know, we're happy to answer any questions that you might have, whether you use us or not. We're happy to answer any of those questions. You can also go to our website. We have a really good FAQ on the website that talks about hard money and how it works and things you need to be concerned about. And then we have one of our bonus today is a hard money lender checklist that will help them figure out exactly what it is that they should be asking and getting started.
That's great. That's great. And just as a final note, Wendy was talking about you need to have a healthy fear. I have a philosophy: never make a loan on a house that you wouldn't buy for that same amount of money, because you may end up owning it.
Well put.
Am I right?
Well put.
Thanks a lot,
Taking
Wendy.
it.
I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. It's
Thank you so
awesome.
much.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with Randolph, I believe it is. Randolph is in the house. Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to Invest in Yourself. And today, we're talking all about passive income if you're just now joining us. So I wanted to bring up my good friend, our head coach. He travels all around the country, even around the world, teaching people real estate with us. And he's been to many different places. And he's our head coach, and he oversees our acquisitions department. He's got virtual assistants that work with him. He's buying houses himself. And please give a warm welcome to my good friend, Randolph Cunningham. Woo! What's up?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Great. Let me get my screen up here and let's see what we're going to talk about today.
All right.
We're going to talk about some massive passive income on the buy side, okay?
All right.
So there are a lot of, sorry, it's kind of confusing having to pass this back and forth. So there's a lot of different ways you can generate passive income in real estate. And we're going to talk about some of the main ones right here today. And in a few minutes, we're going to bring up Paul, and Paul is going to talk about how to market those properties to start generating that cash flow. But Randolph is going to be talking about the different types of properties, the different type of sources, and ways to structure deals. So Randolph, let's first start out and talk about the different types of acquisitions or properties get to create passive income.
Well, there's a number of different sources and places you can pick up these types of properties. I mean, obviously, you can go to your local MLS. I mean, there are tons of properties there. Obviously, they need to be being sold by the owner. I mean, the owner still owns it. It's not a bank-owned property. Of course, those properties typically don't work. Unless you're going to do owner financing, buy it and sell it with owner financing. But you go to MLS, you can buy properties through HUD, use bandit signs. I mean, we pick up a lot of properties doing, marketing our properties through bandit signs. Our signs get a lot of calls. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, you could just, a lot of families and friends, just people knowing what you do, you have those kind of deals referred to. I've had a lot of deals referred to me just because people know what I do. Family members that maybe over their head with their payments, maybe owe more than what the property is worth. Tired landlords, and that's a really popular one. Someone who's just sick of tenants and toilets
And trash and termites.
There you go. So there's a number of different ways to find these different kinds of deals, and they're all over the place.
Yeah. Now, guys, there's a couple different ways that you can buy properties when you're wanting to create passive income. First way is cash. Now, if you're going to buy a property for cash, it's got to be a deep discount, right? If you're going to buy it for cash. The second way is terms, okay? I can pay your price if you give me terms, or I'll pay you my price, okay, if it's a cash price, all right? That's the two ways you need to look at it, because if you buy property for cash, now if I'm looking to create a passive income, somehow I got to come up with that cash if I don't have cash, right? So I got to come up with that cash and maybe borrow private money, not hard money, because that would be long-term. Hard money, short-term loan, but borrow private money and or seller financing or whatnot. So if I'm buying a house on the MLS, HUD, MLS, bank-owned, REO, all that stuff, if I'm buying from an individual or a wholesaler and they need cash, I got to have a deal. I got to have a steal, right? So because if I'm paying you cash, I'm going to go somewhere else and get that cash, okay? Because I don't want to keep my money tied in it forever and ever, okay? Even if I do tie my money up in it, which I do, we have our own money tied up in it. There comes a point, I don't care how much money you got, you run out of money, okay? And we're at the point where we're doing more deals than we got money, okay? Where we're doing more deals than we got money. So, that might be an opportunity for you, hey, if you're interested in maybe doing some private lending with us, that's another way you can create some passive income. We don't have a website or anything like that, but we got an email that people use, passive income@larrygoins.com. And if you got some money and you're interested in investing it passively with us putting it to work for you, just shoot an email over to passiveincome@larrygoins.com, and we'll see what we can work out. But the second thing is if you're not getting a great deal on a property, okay, which that's the only kind of deals we use whenever we're using other people's money, okay? If we're not getting those deep discounted deals, then what we're doing is terms from our seller. And that could involve several different ways of doing deals, buying them subject to seller financing, lease option, land contract. So what I want to do is I want to turn it back over to Randolph, since we only have one mic, and let Randolph share some things with you about the way we do this and the way we set up on the sell side when we're buying it. Excuse me, I should say on the buy side, us buying it, that we can set those up when we get terms.
One popular way that we like, especially because of our signs get a lot of calls, we're dealing directly with the seller. And these typically have two scenarios where the seller still owns a mortgage, have a mortgage in place, and we get them to, in essence, be the bank for us, and in essence, a wraparound. So in essence, we'll keep their existing mortgage in place, and they agree to let us take over their payments, and in turn, we find someone. In an example, let me give you an example. They have a payment of, let's just say, $800 a month.
Oh, tell them about that deal that Tom's working on right now. $160,000 balance, property's worth $200. Remember that deal?
Yeah, $160,000. I think it's worth a little over $210,000, $215,000. The guy's payments on the house, I think, is $1,200. Yeah, that's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So, let's say that too fast, but that's right. But in that area, we can put that property, find somebody to take over. We take over those payments for $1,208. We find someone subject to that existing mortgage, and we find someone where they come in and buy the property, and for $210,000, $215,000 we were looking at, and their payments be $1,578. I don't know why that number's sticking out of my mind. That was the number that's about what we're looking at. So, but there are a lot of deals like that where the homeowner's just fed up with the property. They just don't want to make the payments anymore, and they're willing to let us take over the property with that existing mortgage in place. So you have those scenarios, but then you have others where people don't.
Before you move on,
okay,
tell them about how much we're going to make up front. What are we going to give to the seller, and then what are we going to collect from?
Oh, okay. So
that's the biggest part.
Well, yeah. So
chunks of money.
That's exactly right. Well, where we make our money is not just in the monthly cash flow, but it's the down that we get down from our buyer. See, our buyer is someone who's motivated. What make you, okay, you think about this for a moment, okay? Who will buy a house from us? And we have a $160,000 mortgage in place. They're going to purchase it for $210,000 and $250,000. We're going to do the owner financing for them, and we're going to have them put down $20,000, $25,000. That'll be our down payment for this property. Okay, so we make our money on the front end. Also, we finance it for what we think of 5 or 10 years. More. More than what the seller is in it for. But in essence, the thing is that we're going to be in it making cash flow off this property for at least the length of time that our mortgage that our buyer or our seller is in the property for, and we make a pretty big chunk on the front end. But again, that's in a scenario where there's still a mortgage in place.
Absolutely.
So,
financing's in place.
That's exactly right. So, but there are also the scenarios, which these are also the best scenarios, where the person just owns the property free and clear. And that way you can get really creative, because now the person, in that scenario falls in people who maybe have a property they inherited where they're sick of paying the taxes on it. Or, maybe even they have family members that, that are tied up in, and they're just sick of just dealing with the property with family. Okay. Or maybe in a scenario where there's a landlord, like we mentioned earlier, and they're just sick of renting the property. In either case, there's no mortgage in place. And that's the golden aspect about it. I mean, with Tom is dealing with one now. Tom is one of our acquisition managers. He's tearing it up. He is tearing it up. So
tell him about that free and clear house we were talking about this morning that he's got. 50,000, 80,000.
Yeah. So the people who own the property, they try to sell it for like 60, 65,000. Okay. They just reduce the price to like 50. Okay. Well, the comps in the area, okay, are rendering $80,000, $90,000 plus. Okay. So we're talking about going back to them, setting up a payment arrangement where we're paying them $500 a month, and give them the 60 that they originally wanted. Okay. They just dropped it to 50. We're going to pay them 60.
See, remember, I can give you your price.
That's right.
If you give me terms.
That's right. That's right. And so we set it up for 5 or 10 years, then turn around and sell that property with owner financing for $80,000, $90,000. And folks, this is a nice house.
Make a spread.
That's right. That's right. And the thing is, when you're doing your due diligence, and I don't know if I'm jumping the gun as I'm moving on. The thing is, what will that neighborhood, what will that area render? See, you still have to do the same due diligence as if you were buying the property to flip it. Because in essence, you don't want to try to resell the property with owner financing for more than what houses are selling for. You know, right. Also too, you don't want the payments to be more than what the rental payments are in the area. So there's some due diligence that you really need to do on the front end in analyzing these deals to make sure that someone will see your advertisement, whether it's on Craigslist or Zillow, or ride by your sign and be like, man, I can make those payments and own a house. That's what the rents are going for. That's cheaper than rent, okay? So you really want to make sure you're doing the right due diligence when you're structuring these deals.
On the buy side.
On the buy side.
On the buy side. That's absolutely true. And that's very, very important. Now, where do you find these deals? Okay, I got a mic now.
Oh, okay.
Is this working? Do I have a mic?
I missed that.
Okay, good.
All right.
So it's because Paul was really slick getting up here. You couldn't even see him.
You're good.
So the flash. Anyway, so where are you going to find these deals? There's many, many different places you can find these deals. Randolph, give them a few examples of different scenarios and places and ways they can generate leads to find these deals with terms.
I mean, we mentioned a couple of them before, but I'm telling you, bandit signs have worked wonders for us. Just putting out signs of, we buy houses, and even our signs where we're selling houses. Now, it mentions nothing about us buying houses. It talks a lot about us selling a house. We have a particular house that we're trying to market. Even those signs pulling a lot of those calls, people calling, hey, will you guys do owner financing? It gets those kind of calls, but also people calling and say, hey, you guys are buying houses? And we're not even advertising to buy houses, okay? So they're calling off our sales signs. So, signs work really well. You can even, these deals are all over Craigslist. I'm not sure if you guys hit your Craigslist a lot, but man, Craigslist is not just a great place to sell houses. It's a great place to find these deals.
That's right.
A lot of homeowners, that's one of the easiest places for them to go and post their property. So you'll find a lot of motivated sellers there on Craigslist and your local paper.
Look for ads and run your own ads as well.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The MLS, even though the property is listed with the real estate agent, that doesn't mean that there's not a motivated seller behind that agent. And I've talked to a lot of agents where the sellers, they've said, man, you know what? This person just wanted to get from up under these payments, and I tell you what, agents are good for that. You build a good relationship with an agent. They'll start to refer those kind of deals to you.
That's true. Absolutely. Randolph, is there anything else that you want to share with about analyzing a deal?
Yeah, I tell you what, and I was always looking at the aspect of a newbie, okay? There's a lot of seasoned guys out here, and I'm sure some of you guys are looking at this webinar, but my heart goes out to the newbie, because when you're just starting out, a lot of times, man, you don't have money. You don't have a lot of knowledge, not a lot of knowledge, but sometimes you just don't have a lot of money either. So I'm all about what is some free resources available that you can utilize to analyze a deal and say, hey, this deal will work for owner financing. One site I love is Zillow, okay? And I'm sure a lot of you've already heard of Zillow. Well, I don't, be leery of Zillow, okay? But it is good for some things, like the Zestimate that they give you, the estimate of what the house is worth.
Forget it.
That's right. You don't ignore that. But here's what you do. Scroll down a little bit further, and you're going to see recent homes sold. You click on those houses that are sold, and that'll give you a really good idea of what you can turn around and sell the house for. And I typically try to stay on the mid to bottom end of what the sales are. If I'm seeing sales from 70 to 95, friend, I want to be no more than around 75 on that house on the resale. 75 to 80. I want to be on the lower end. Okay. So not just Zillow for selling the property, but you can go to Rentometer, rentometer.com. Renter meter is a good source to find out what the rents are in the area. And not just what the rents are, it really gives you a good idea of what kind of area is it. Is it a neighborhood where there are a lot of homeowners? Or is it a neighborhood that is infiltrated with a lot of rentals? That's going to be important when you're doing owner financing. Okay, is it somewhere where somebody want to buy a house? Typically, a neighborhood full of homeowners, those neighborhoods are kept up a lot better. You know, not that all rental neighborhoods are bad. I'm not saying that at all, but it's traditionally when people own their home, they take better care of the area. So another great site, Trulia. I use Trulia because Trulia gives me an idea of what the school district is like. Okay, that's a really good thing, because think about it, you're talking about someone who's going to buy a house from you, put down a really large chunk of money. I mean, they may have children. Those things are going to be important to them. So you want to see what the school ratings are. Also, Trulia has a heat map for the crime. You know, not that crime in the area is necessarily bad, but you want to have a good idea of what kind of crime is going on in the area and what types of crime. Okay, so those kind of things you want to look at on the front end when you're doing your due diligence on the property.
So how many murders in a neighborhood are too many?
One, maybe two. But yeah, but very important, very important.
It is very important. So guys, the bottom line here in creating your passive income is make sure that if you're buying the property from a source that you're getting a great cash price, you got to have some private money lined up, okay, to be able to fund that deal, some long-term private money that the numbers will work. If you're buying on terms, okay, if you're buying on terms, in other words, you're buying it subject to there's an existing loan in place, or you're buying it with seller financing, or you're doing a lease option where you create a sandwich lease, or you're buying on land contract, then you go around and you structure your sell side to match this buy side. So number one, you make money on the front end, and number two, you make money every single month, right? So if we buy it subject to, we could turn around and say we put $2,000 down and we got an $800 a month payment. We could get $10,000 down and a $1,200 a month payment, right? So we're making the spread on that, and we just made the difference between the 2 and the 10. We put $8,000 in our pocket minus closing cost or whatever. So we could also sell that property on a lease option. We could sell it on a land contract as well. So we maintain the title and we get the tax benefits. Okay. And there's a lot you need to know about this to get started and to do it, because you gotta worry about the taxes, the insurance, who's paying those. Are you gonna escrow for it? Are you gonna collect it at the end of the year? You know, your insurance that's in place, the homeowner's insurance, you gotta be listed as loss payee. You put your seller as secondary insured on the property. There's a lot of different things you need to be aware of when you do this. So be careful, get some information, get some education out about it. And if you have some money you want to put to work, you know, if you'd like for us to see if we got a deal you can put some money in, you know, send us an email over to passiveincome@larrycohens.com. And we'll see, you know, kind of what you're looking for and see if there's something that matches up there. Who knows? So with that, Randolph, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Randolph, the man, the legend, and the myth. And we'll be right back. Good job. Hey everybody, welcome back. What's going on? Live from Lake Wiley, South Carolina. I'm Larry Goins and my good friend Paul Olson. He is our relational technologist. Paul takes care of all of our marketing, all of our automation, our spreadsheets, our software, our databases, our email marketing, our online marketing, online advertising, our direct mail, our bandit signs, man, you name it, and this guy takes care of it. He is clean up for everything, and it all comes down to him, and he puts this whole system in place. It might be my name on the door, but this guy creates the systems right here. So, Paul, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's going on, buddy?
You're a little generous there to me.
Man, it's all true. It really is. I mean, we've said this in other conversations out here that you're the one that create all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And it's really cool. It really is.
I love creating stuff, so it's been fun to be able to do that
awesome.
here.
And the best part about it, he's not a programmer. He's not a coder. He doesn't create software. He's the visionary. He's the guy who says, I needed to do this, this, and this. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he makes it happen. So, Paul, what we're going to talk about today is on the sales side about marketing the property, how to identify your buyer, and then how to get that buyer to seek us out, right?
That's right. That's
Excellent.
right. You know, like Randolph was saying, you know, there's a lot of great sources to be able to buy the property, but once you get it, now what do you do with it? And that's where I come in. You know, we do a lot of wholesaling here in the office, and we do a lot for marketing for people who are cash buyers and things like that.
Yeah.
But something you got to remember is whenever you're looking for somebody to take mortgage payments and stuff like that, it's a total different mindset that person has. So we actually have to market slightly different to get somebody to bring in that actually is going to buy the house and give us some cash flow, because they're not going to be a cash buyer. They're going to be somebody that has a good down payment. They're going to be somebody that is maybe a little down on their luck with their credit, but is actually credit worthy to us.
Right.
They may not be able to qualify for a bank loan, but they show a good ability to pay. You know, it could be they've been through a divorce and they're finishing stuff up with that. It could be any number of things.
Right.
But we've got a market to reach that kind of person to be able to get them to us instead of the cash buyer where we're advertising out there, you know, on our signs, cash for this, that is high price. You know, we're looking for people that are rent to own, special financing. Those are the type of catchwords that catch these type of people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you know, usually a wholesaler, you know, because we wholesale properties, a wholesaler is going to advertise price and cash. Now, we have sold many properties where they had their own hard money loan. We usually don't like to sell to people using hard money unless they're using Wendy, Carolina Hard Money. Because that way we know we're in control and we know the deal is going to close. Because there's a lot of people out there that say they're lenders and they're really not, or they won't close when it comes down to it. But so we're looking for that cash buyer if we're wholesaling. But this is a totally different animal, isn't it?
It is. Really what you're doing is you're looking for, and I like this phrase, I heard this from Eddie Speed, looking for a deserving buyer with a good size down payment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So many people out there are advertising $500 down, $1,500 down. What if the person has 10 grand down? Well, you just told them they didn't need to spend it.
Exactly.
So the more money you get down, the higher your return on your investment's going to be. Think about this. If you bought a house for 20 grand, okay, and you could sell it for $40,000, okay, and get $10,000 down, well, now instead of having 20 in it, you only have 10 in the house. But if you advertise it for $1,000 down, you still have 19,000 in it plus closing costs.
Exactly.
So you want to get the more down payment you can get, the better. And I don't care what they tell us. We try to bump that up a little bit, because one of the things that we've learned over the years, and guys, please don't take offense to this, but it's just the way it is buyers are liars. They will tell you they have great credit, and they'll tell you that they don't have but $500 or $1,000 to put down. Okay. So you've got to probe, you got to ask some more questions. Okay. So, you know, I don't literally mean all buyers are liars. You know that. But I'm saying if you get that mentality and know that whatever number they told you, don't take that to the bank. You got to probe a little bit more. You got to ask a few more questions. And here's the other thing that we were talking about with Eddie Speed. He was right here in our office the other day, is if you're asking for $1,500 down, what are you going to get?
You're going to get a $1,500 down or $500 down.
There you go. But if you're asking for a large down payment, good size down payment, as you just said, you know, you might get $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 down. I just sold one of my rental properties. I put it in, and I don't have rental properties. I have lease option properties. Okay. But this lady, she's putting $35,000 down on an 89.9 house, a $90,000 house. She's putting $35,000 down. So I'm actually going to deed it to her and sell it to her on seller financing instead of a lease option. But before she did that, I bought the house. I had 50 in it. Okay. I had 50 in it. The first tenant put 10 grand down. They walked away from a lease option. The second one put 3 grand down. They walked away from the lease option. Now this lady's putting $35,000 down, sold it.
You never know what people have. That's the thing, is you never know. So if you're advertising for something low, you're going to get low, like you were saying.
That's exactly.
And in all of our marketing, we're trying to make sure we're advertising to the person that has money, who is looking for something to get in right now. So our Craigslist ads, that's a great way to get out there. You can be very specific with that type of marketing. With your bandit signs, that's another way to get these out there. Zillow, I mean, come on now, that's another great way. There's a lot of people looking on Zillow, and you can put it right there in your ad headline, that, hey, looking for a good credit-worthy person, looking for somebody who's got substantial down payment, here's the price. One thing we also try to tend to shy away from, just a general idea, but we don't necessarily want to say what the payment is up front, because we may be able to tweak it some depending on how much they have down.
That's right. That's a really, really good point. And you got to be careful, because once you start getting into quoting payments and terms and interest rate, then there's certain disclosures that you have to provide as well. If you notice, any lender that goes on TV and advertises, you know, we've got loan rates now at 2.9%, you know, whatever, you're going to see a big paragraph at the bottom. Now it's going to be about this big, but you're going to see a big paragraph at the bottom that says APR based on a down payment of 28%, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. All that stuff. So you got to be careful in quoting terms. That's why we don't quote terms. We don't want to quote terms, don't like to. I want them to call. I want somebody to know, because we're using keywords, or Paul is using keywords like no bank qualifying, okay? Payments to fit your budget. I mean, that's not a payment to fit. Who doesn't want a payment to fit their budget, right?
Exactly.
You know, payments to fit your budget. Another good one is payments less than rent.
Right.
That's a good one. Another good one is why rent when you can own, right?
Rent to own, special financing, all these kinds of little things.
Exactly. All these little keywords, okay? All these little keywords. You know, your down payment is your credit.
Yep.
You know, those kind of things. You know, deserving person, I think you mentioned that one earlier.
Deserving individual.
Deserving individual or family, you know, with a good size down payment. Seller will finance, owner will finance, no bank qualifying, special funding programs. I've always liked that one. Down payment and closing cost assistance available. You know, you could use something like that. Now you're going to get somebody that has low down payment probably with that, but still, you know, those are all different keywords that you can use in your marketing and in your advertising. And Paul mentioned Craigslist. He mentioned Zillow. You know, there's print, online, offline. There's all different kind of marketing. The signs that you put out, you can put out signs in the neighborhood that say no bank qualifying, all those different keywords. So those are all different ways that you can use to market your property. And the great thing about it, as we talked about earlier, whether you're buying cheap and using private money, or you're buying using terms, like somebody who has a mortgage and they're just tired of paying it, like Randolph mentioned earlier, you know, you're going to pay a little bit down, but you're going to get a lot down. You're going to pay a little bit per month, and you're going to get more per month, not a ton per month. You know, we like to keep it where we have at least a $300 spread, but is that always the case? No, not always, is it?
No, it's not. It's not.
So, Paul, do you have any parting words, anything that you would like to share about marketing on the sales side?
Honestly, the big thing is just keep it simple, because it's one of those, you can get so exotic with your terms and the different things that you're putting out there. Just keep it simple, because the person that you're marketing to needs to be able to understand what you're talking about. Don't get all technical with the type of deals that you're doing. Just keep it in layman's terms for them.
That's good. That's really good. Remember, people tell you in advertising, they tell you you need to write your ad copy for a 7th grade education, okay? So please remember that when writing your ad copy, writing your signs, putting out your bandit signs, don't use these big words. You know, a lot of people don't know what they mean. They won't tell you they don't know what it means, but a lot of people don't know what some very technical things mean. So just be very careful with that. So Paul, thanks, man. I appreciate it. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Nathan Amaral, the man, the legend, and the myth, live and in person right here next. Don't go away. There you goings, and welcome back live and in person in Lake Wiley, South Carolina. And I'm really excited to bring on special guest, good friend right here in the office every day, working with us. He's a national author. He's a speaker. He's a trainer. He's a motivator. He motivates the people in this office. He keeps us on the edge of our seat. He always helps us to get to the next level. Everybody needs a Nathan Amaral. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Larry? How are you?
Man, I am doing great. Thanks
Good.
a lot for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on your show.
I
It's
appreciate
awesome.
you. And
This is quite a setup. I love it.
it's pretty cool.
It's great.
And just to start out with, Nathan is also a new dad.
Oh yeah. I figured I'd start that part of my life, getting married, having children. It's a good time.
That's good, man. That's a good order too.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So Nathan is our resident motivator. He's a personal development trainer, personal development and motivating author, speaker, trainer, travels around the country, around the world, teaching people how to not only have their vision, but how to fulfill that vision. So Nathan, what are you going to talk to us about today?
Today I'm going to talk about blinders, having blinders, like a horse in a race. And just exactly like if you put your hands up over your eye on the sides of your eyes, it's just being completely focused. And actually after the training today, you can actually get this GOV, this gift of value. It's a download, and it has what we're talking about. And it's my gift to you, where there's a lot of opportunities in the world. There's a lot of different ways you can make money, whether it's short term or long term. And whether it's flipping houses or holding for long-term cash flow, network marketing, Forex, there's a lot of different ways you can make money. But the reality is, if you try to make money in all the different areas, you're not going to be successful. Just like I say in real estate investing, I look at real estate investing, the industry, like an umbrella. And every rod that holds up that umbrella is an avenue of real estate. It's a strategy of real estate. However, you can't do each and every single one at the same time. You have to be focused on one at a time, and then you can move to others if you choose. And would you agree with that, Larry? I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, if you start in all many different directions, and just a personal story about my, when I got started in real estate investing about 10 years ago, I was learning all kinds of stuff about real estate, and I didn't have complete focus and clarity. And it wasn't until I hunkered down, I got with a coach, I got serious and focused on one strategy alone. And that's when things started happening. That's when money started coming in, deals started closing. So,
Did you really just say hunkered down?
Did I say hunker down? I probably did.
He's from Boston. He's not even from South Carolina.
It's rubbing off. It's rubbing off. That's what it is.
That's awesome.
It's rubbing it off.
I'm sitting here thinking about when you were talking about when you first got into real estate investing, and now you're doing seller finance deals.
Yeah.
You do hard money loans.
Yeah.
You've created a lot of passive income for yourself as well. But
Yeah.
when you said that, that just threw me off.
Well, it's very true, because when I got started in real estate, I actually bought training and education that taught me like 8 different avenues, from lease options and quick flips and rehabbing. And I tried to do all of them at the same time, but it wasn't until I just focused on that one strategy, the quick flip strategy at that time. As soon as I became successful with that and I put on those blinders, that's when things started happening. And then after built up a nest egg, had a little bit more financial freedom, that's when I said, oh, you know what? Let me try this. Let me try some hard money lending. Let me try some now seller financing. Let me try some other avenues, apartments and whatnot. But without it, you're lost.
Right.
And I think that's probably one of the biggest struggles that a lot of investors, not even just startup investors, not just beginners, but also sometimes even investors that have been in the game for a long time. And I want to give you a strategy that really works. That's worked for me, but it's worked for a lot of people that I've shared it with. And it basically comes down to a visual aid. Today with technology, we use our cell phones for almost everything in our life. And when it comes down to knowing what direction and where you're going and staying focused, the things that you tap on, I call it the tap strategy, is the things that you tap on your phone are going to direct you down a path that's going to consume your time, it's going to consume your energy, and it's going to consume your focus. So just keep in mind of what are you tapping on? That's the question I have for you, is what are you tapping on a daily basis? Here's a strategy that I use every morning. I use an app called Wunderlist. It's a really powerful app, and I tap on that app every day to analyze my goals. I look at the goals, I see what's happening. I highly recommend it. When you tap on something on your phone every day, that's going to reiterate or get you refocused on your goals. It's going to keep you focused. Now, one of the most popular apps, Facebook, you have to actually analyze how much time do you spend on social media, being whether you're tapping your Facebook or your Twitter app. Just keep in mind, are your goals listed there? Is your focus on there? Are you getting the value out of those apps, those taps, to generate your goals and dreams? I mean, that's why you're doing this real estate game in the first place, isn't it? It is. So I want to also give you a few different strategies that it's going to help you stay focused. These may seem kind of like counterintuitive or just kind of like, why would you use these to get focused? But I have 5 that I want to share with you real quick. One of them is each week, take one day completely off. I know, Larry, it's Sunday, right? But have you ever, Larry, wasn't there a time in your life where you actually worked 7 days a week?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I still do, to some extent, do a little bit. Maybe it's some writing or something.
Yeah.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
And that's really, really a good point. I remember reading something one time that sometimes the best thing you can do that day is not to even look at a clock. I think it actually said not to wear a watch, but I don't wear a watch normally during the day.
Yeah, my watch is broken.
But this has a watch, or a clock.
So
sometimes the best thing you can do is not look at a clock for a day.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's step number 1. Tip number 1 is just take a day completely off. No computers. If it's Sunday for you, if it's Saturday, whatever day that may be, recently it was rules. Create some rules for yourself. Don't do this. Don't do that. Whatever it is, create your own set of rules. So do not do. Yeah, do not do. Do not do this. Do not do that. But no phone, no email. And this actually this ties into the second one. The second tip I want to give you is a family fun day. Make sure that you're spending time with your family. And if you're single, friends, family members, your immediate family, whoever it may be, spend time with them, invest that time not only into yourself. Actually, when you spend time with your family, you're investing it into your family, but also into yourself that way as well. But take that time and spend with them, those people who know you best, those people that you like, trust, and love. Tip number 3 is ask more out of your life. Ask more. Write some things down that you can actually extend in your life, that you can get more out of. And tip number 4 is be consistent. Be consistent with your lists. Be consistent with not deviating. If you're setting up a plan and you're trying to set up these blinders in your life, or you're going to take that day off, or you're going to spend that day with your family, be consistent with it. Add a reminder in your phone. Add a reminder so that it automatically reminds you, like, okay, this time it's, everything shuts down. I remember my dad growing up every morning, and we come from a Portuguese family, every night at 5 o'clock, I always know my dad was coming home. I always knew. And if we were not downstairs when that door opened, we would get in trouble, right? So we hear the truck rolling in, and and as soon as my dad came in, we knew we had to be downstairs at that dinner table. And actually, that just meant a lot, and it meant a lot for our family that, one, we had dinner together, but two, it meant consistency. And I think that's really powerful, is that when you set up those consistent moments, it makes it predictable, but it also creates a comfortable environment, and it puts yourself at ease. In a high stress world, in a high digital and technology world, you can be distracted in so many ways. But if you have something that you're consistent with, it creates that sense of ease. And lastly, number 5, find one thing that makes your day better. Find just one thing. Write it down, actually. Find one thing that's really just going to say, this is, even if you have to treat yourself. Maybe it's you're doing something you never did. Maybe it's you're going for a walk down by the lake or something, whatever it is for you. But just find one thing that you can do to make your day better. And that will really just kind of refocus you, bring your mind to a level of not only detaching from the busyness of the world and of your life, but it just brings back a focus to what you're trying to get done and the goals you're trying to achieve.
So I have a question for you, Nathan. What is the one thing for you that makes your day better that you do every day?
On a business or family? Or just anyone?
Yeah, just like number 5.
Yeah.
One thing that you do.
Okay.
One thing you do I know what it is for me.
Yeah. I would say the one thing for me is that wow, that's a great question.
I threw you off.
Because
it's several.
You know what it is? Because I do have to make sure that every day I do something like it's like a de-stressor. So I would say, it's something that I know I can just totally relax. I would say it's probably eat ice cream.
Really?
Yeah. It's probably eat ice cream. It's like a treat. So yesterday, took my wife and my baby, we went for ice cream. But it's like our thing. It's like we like to try different ice creams. It's just something that it just makes the day better. It's
That's
like,
awesome.
It's just different. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's good.
Yeah.
The one thing I like to do every day is listen to loud rock and roll.
There you go.
I do.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's usually in my car.
Yeah.
I'll listen to some Van Halen or ZZ Top or
Nice.
something like that. Just loud rock and roll.
Yeah.
When my wife gets in the car and I turn on the ignition, it's like, whoa, can you turn that down?
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
That's probably why I have a hard time hearing now, according to my wife.
Same here. I can think of those times.
Another thing I like to do is I play the guitar every day. Every day I play 1 or 2 songs on the guitar.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
So, Nathan, this is some really, really good stuff.
Well, like you said, with playing guitar every day, you're consistent. You do it every day. And that. Okay.
It's a 69 Strat. Okay.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds good.
69 finger Strat.
Oh, all right.
And I've owned this since the 70s.
Wow.
I love that guitar.
That's a long time ago.
That is a long time ago. That's before you were born. My guitar's older than you are.
That's right.
That's good.
Yeah.
So Nathan, this is some really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
What if you had to leave somebody with something? What would you leave them with to help them from right here, right now, from this day forward, that they could do to help implement this? Because you've given them some really good tools. But hey, guys, when this is over, you're going to go back to work or go back to whatever you were doing. What can you share with them to help them implement this?
Sure. Well, I'd say the first thing to do is take this document, print it out, put it in a place you can see it. And after you do that is in your phone, make appointments for these items. These 5 tips, make appointments for them. Add them as if you're having a business meeting. And that will keep you on track long term. And that will keep you focused. and not distracted, and be true to your commitments. So I would do that right away.
That's awesome. Nathan, I just happened to look down here and I see the bottom of this sheet. Can you explain that? That's really, it's a kind of a header, but it's at the bottom.
Sure.
So I love that.
Yeah, it's a picture there at the bottom. It says, "Don't limit your challenges, challenge your limits."
Wow. Did you write that?
No, I didn't. I can't say I did.
Good.
Yeah. And that is, Jim Rohn has a good quote for that. The late Jim Rohn had a good quote for that is, actually I can't remember it right now off the top of my head, but it is something about being focused on getting better on yourself. Oh, don't ask.
I know what it is.
Go ahead, Larry. Don't ask.
Work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's one of them. But what about the other one? It's the one where it says, "Don't wish things were easier. Wish were you better."
Wish you were better.
That's right.
Jim Rohn's got a ton. If you don't know who Jim Rohn is, he passed away a year or two ago, but he was called the father of philosophy, okay? And Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N. And he used to be my favorite trainer, but guess who is now?
Oh, boy.
The man, the legend, and the myth. So, Nathan, thank you so much for being on. Would you mind, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do some Q&A. So would you mind sitting up here with me? And
Oh, yeah,
I think
sure.
Todd has some questions that have come in. If you will hand him the microphone, if you don't mind. That'll be good.
All right, Larry. Our first question comes from someone. They said, "What states can you get a nice house for $60,000?"
In what states? All of them except California. You guys out in California live where the prices look like phone numbers, foreign phone numbers, okay? Now, seriously, you can buy a house in California for $60,000. If you don't believe me, go to HUDhomestore.com and click on California and then sort them by price, lowest to highest. You'll see HUD houses available in California. You won't find any in San Diego. You won't find any in Orange County. You won't find any in the Bay Area, but there are plenty of houses. There's plenty of houses in every state for $30,000. So keep that in mind. You just got to get out and look for it. And remember, you're not a tree. You can buy anywhere you want to. Okay? We don't only buy in the Carolinas. We buy in North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee right now. And we have 12 other states that we're moving into as well. So great, great question.
All right, we have a question from Roni. Is there a website where I can get education on being a private money or transactional lender?
Yes, there's one coming. We are in the process of putting together a training program and a live event and even a coaching program about being a hard money and private money lender. And we have a course coming out. We've been working on it very, very hard. We just had another meeting about it this morning. It'll probably be out in about 30 days, called Hard Money Millions. So yeah, it's going to be available in about a month or so, and we're going to have a live event for it as well. So be on the lookout for it.
All right, and we do have one more question today from Nessa. Is there any HUD website specifically for investors?
Any HUD website? Wendy, I see you in the background. Will you come up here for a second? Would you give her the mic since that's your last question? Thank you. Yeah. Oh, by the way, before Nathan leaves, thank you very much, Nathan, the man, the legend, and the myth right here. Woohoo. So I wanted Wendy to come up here because this question is about HUD and about any good website to analyze or figure out a little bit more about HUD deals. So I know, Wendy, I know you have
my favorite site.
About this site.
Right.
It's not HUDhomestore.com. That's where you'll find every HUD house in the country. But there's another website that allows you to do some analyzing of some deals and find out what other houses have sold for. So would you tell them about that?
That's correct. It's called HUDhomevalue.com. It is an awesome website. You can take the property case number, which you can get the property case number off of the HUD Home Store. Turn your phone off, Larry.
Oh, it's my computer.
Okay.
That's my wife calling me. I'm doing a webinar.
But you can take the case number off of the HUD Home Store, go right to HUDhomevalue.com and put in the case number. It will tell you everything there is to know about that house. It gives you the history from when HUD first posted it. If it has been delisted or sold, it will tell you what it sold for. If it was put back onto the market, It also gives you an idea of how many days on market houses in that particular market
That's really good.
will be discounted at,
That's
and
really good.
exactly what percentage it should be discounted at. It gives you an estimated bid, what you should be bidding on that house. It is so full of information, not only about that house, but what's going on in the market around that house. I never look at a HUD house without pulling that information up.
That's awesome.
It's excellent.
That's really good. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
Wendy.
welcome.
That's really good. And welcome back.
Thanks.
So, guys, that's pretty much it for the Invest in Yourself show. So I want to thank everybody here on my team, Sean and Todd and Wendy and Paul and Randolph and everybody else that was involved, and Nathan for help making this show a success. And remember, if you're interested in the passive income, just shoot an email over to passiveincome@larrygoins.com and we'll respond to that. And until next time, this is Larry Goins and Wendy Sweet saying invest in yourself. Thanks a lot and have a great day. Bye-bye.